are being oppressed. There is more work to be done. There is more work to be done.
That was the voice of Nelson Mandela, the former South African president. You know, we are here tonight to celebrate Africa's rich diversity and cultures. A continent which has been through its own share of glory and hardship like every other part of the world. And you know, in the midst of all the celebrations, we can often overlook some challenges facing the African continent and Africa's place in the world. You know, Africa is so diverse that sometimes in the midst of this diversity, we Africans can find it hard to find our strength in this diversity. And that's why we are here as ASA, to inspire and unite all Africans so that we can be able to participate in shaping the social fabric of our communities in every place we are. So I'll talk briefly about the young African leader and Africa's place in the world. Most African countries are still very young countries, very young nations. 50 years ago, we fought for independence. And that fight was motivated by the clarion call to eradicate poverty, illiteracy, disease and poverty all across Africa. But today, there are still two questions in mind. How far have we come to fulfilling that promise? Where is Africa's woman's place in that promise? As we are here tonight, young Africans like myself and yourself are dying in the Sahara Desert, trying to escape from Africa to Europe for greener pastures. You know, some of us may have become so accustomed to these horrific images that sometimes the intended objective is not achieved. Whatever the case, we cannot deny the fact that the young African leader is in serious challenges. For who else can better empathize and speak about the African problems and find solutions than the young African? You and I are not different from them. I've not spoken about climate change yet, where most of Africa's wetlands are the Lake Chad Basin, the Okavango Delta in Botswana, the Zambezi River, the River Nile, the River Wuri, they're all drying up because of climate change, irrigation, and migration. These are grave concerns, especially because it is projected that climate change will cause more civil war, economic crisis, hardships, and migration in Africa, and ethnic conflicts put together. No matter where you come from Africa, North, South, East, and West, we are all facing the same challenges. Climate change is real in Africa. We can't ignore it. But I think I'm going to depress us. No, did I come here to make the young African leader lose hope? After all, none of these challenges are new to Africa. They are not new than those of the past, from those of epidemics, natural disasters, colonialism, slave trade, neo-colonialism, corruption, and human rights abuse. They are not any different. And that is why we remain resilient in the face of those challenges. And tonight, we are to celebrate a place which was once home of great empires like the Benin Empire, the Zulu Empire, the Ashanti Empire, the Bantu, the Yorubas, the Igbos, and the Moorish Empire in Morocco, Northern Africa. Empires led by great men like the Sunjata Keita, the Sumangurus, the Askar Mohammeds, the Soni Alis. May history forgive me. Let me skip down to the Lumumbas, the Nkrumahs, the Dikos, the Nyereres, the Machels. People who stood in the face of colonial empires and declared that they were men and should be treated like men. This should inspire us to honor their memories and leave a legacy for the next generation coming behind us. I think we should also celebrate the great progress and prosperity Africa has made in the midst of these challenges. Just a few weeks ago, African leaders signed the world's biggest free trade bloc that will bring prosperity to 1.2 billion Africans. I think we also know that Africa is home to 3 of the world's fastest growing economies. I think we also know that the 5th ranked nation in the world where we have the most respect for women's rights is in Africa. Why then should we lose hope as young Africans? Why should we lose hope when Africa has the world's largest capacity for solar energy? when Africa hosts 30% of the world's resources? Why should we lose hope? Young Africans, if we come together and resist the poison of corruption, the poison of division among us, we can stifle out poverty, corruption, disease, and civil wars and ethnic conflict all across Africa. Because in a world like this today, in this global world, we need to come together as Africans and with the rest of the world and the African diaspora to achieve our moral, political, social, and scientific maturity. Only then can we defeat these monsters that pervade Africa and the world. Oh, all of mankind is a common family, and we have a common home called Earth. We may better learn how to live with our differences for mutual progress. We therefore need young African leaders who can lead Africa to the future of globalization and democracy, enshrined in African patriotism and insight into development. For we Africans as a whole shall never be happy unless we are able to create for ourselves all that we accused the colonial powers of denying us our freedom. The responsibility is on us. We cannot achieve the basic elements of social justice, healthcare, quality education if the young African stays away from active involvement in the governance of our respective countries. We have 54 countries in Africa. We speak 1,500 different languages in Africa. We are the world's second largest continent. We need to come together to build Africa. No one is better placed to do that than the young Africans. We must therefore stand up to enforce the democratic ideals we want to see. Fight our poor leadership from our respective countries. For we, the young Africans, represent the symbol of faith and boundless energy from Mother Africa. She is looking up to us. That is a challenge for you and me. The challenge to point out wrongdoing, irrespective of who does it. From the xenophobic attacks in South Africa, civil war in Cameroon, civil war in Congo, Central African Republic, Sudan, Burundi, Boko Haram in Nigeria, Al-Shabaab in Kenya and Somalia. We must stand up and say a resounding no, that mankind is one big family, and we must learn to live together. You know, as the mayor said, we've all come from all over the world with our unique experiences to enrich and strengthen the fabric of Morgantown, the fabric of West Virginia, and the fabric of America as a whole. That's why we as ASA are doing everything within our power to create an environment that will embrace all the values of West Virginia University and America and the world as a whole. For why else are we here on Earth if not to make a positive impact? That's a challenge for you and our young African leaders. But we know the future is bright, the future is bright. But we must keep hope alive so we can pass our legacy with pride to the next generation. For they are looking up to us with hope in their eyes. Thank you so much.